Delahunty.
Mr Speaker, the Green Party did not support the 2008 Summary Proceedings Amendment Bill, and the flaws of which this current bill is intended to rectify. And we do believe in taking care. The relevant Summary Proceedings Amendment Bill was part of the Omnibus Criminal Procedure Bill, which the Green Party opposed as deeply problematic and flawed legislation. As we oppose that primary legislation that this bill sets down with, the Green Party will be abstaining from voting on the current bill.
Honourable Heather Roy.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to speak to the first reading of this bill. The ACT Party will be supporting this bill, as I think most other parties are, except for the Greens, who have just announced their abstention. It does make good sense, of course, to proceed with this rectification of a mistake that was made. And without wanting to apportion blame, Mr Speaker, I think the best thing that we can do is actually learn a lesson from this. The ACT Party puts a lot of store in regulatory responsibility, and in fact we've got measures in the confidence and supply agreement with the National Party in this regard. Regulatory responsibility is something that each and every one of us in this House should take very seriously, and there are some very basic questions that we should always ask ourselves, I believe, when we are writing legislation. Questions such as, what is the intent of this legislation? What exactly is it set to achieve? What will the costs be, both financial costs and societal costs? And most importantly, some thought should certainly be given to what the unintended consequences of a bill should be looking forward. And so there are some lessons for us, particularly in light of this particular piece of legislation, and we should be mindful of that when we are putting things forward to this House, when we are doing our work at select committees, and when we debate in this chamber. We are happy to pass this under urgency today. It certainly is an issue that I think does warrant urgency, and it's not often that we in the ACT Party say that. The National Party previous speaker also talked about the rights and wrongs of retrospective legislation. As a rule, we in the ACT Party are opposed to retrospective legislation, and since I've been in this House, and since 2002, there have been a number of occasions when we have very vigorously opposed retrospective legislation. But in this case, I would agree with Simon Bridges when he says that occasionally there is an issue that warrants the retrospective legislation being put in place, and I agree with him that this is one such case. So with those things in mind, Mr Speaker, the ACT Party does support this legislation, but we would like to remind each and every one of our colleagues sitting in this House that regulatory responsibility certainly is something that we should take very seriously. Thank you.